All right, guys, welcome back to Within Tolerance. This is episode 65. I feel like I haven't done one of these in forever, and I'm back from Arizona. I finally got to meet Dylan. Yes, I met him for the first time in Phoenix or
Yeah,
Tucson, actually.
first,
Uh,
second, whatever.
yeah, it was pretty funny. I showed up and I was like, "Nice to finally meet you," and you, I think you said, "Nice to see you" or something.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh boy. So that was pretty fun. I got to drive down there and check out Dylan's shop and then also Brad Souther's shop, which was really interesting to just see two different, completely different shops. You know, Dylan being a job shop and Brad being pretty product focused on knives, which was pretty cool. So I think that whole day I had a blast.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. I hadn't seen Brad in a while too, so it's always good to catch up with him, and then it was really cool to meet you for the first or second time, and at least meet you, have you in the shop, and we got you to probe some stuff and set some tools, and all the fun stuff.
Yeah, it was. I forgot about that. That was a lot of fun just to play around with that, and then to see it. Like I told Dylan, to see a Speedio. I haven't seen one since like 2018 at IMTS and a couple other local shops. But just to see one and see it run and just appreciate it, because 2 years ago I didn't know as much as I did now. So, and it was cool to see the fixture plate finally on there.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think I posted on Instagram, but we haven't said it on the podcast. So I did get the fixture plate on there before Payton showed up. I actually had it done the week before he showed up, and then kept it pretty hush hush. I DM'd a few people. I was like, look, but I was like, keep it quiet. I want to surprise Payton, and I was trying to get my GoPro set up so that I could catch your face when you finally realized it was on there, but it was out of battery, unfortunately, when I got into the shop that day. But yeah, it's on. It's working well. But while you were there, I mean, you saw a few little issues with it, like the screws were getting stuck in there, the little ball lock screws, and it turns out that they've already solved that issue on the second gen one. And I contacted Eric and got the pieces and all that stuff to swap out the set screw and the threaded insert for like their new one piece deal that does all that. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Like, it's just super quick and simple. I've got a million places that I can drop stock on. I'm still in the tail end of that titanium job, so I haven't really gotten to use like the deltas yet or anything like that. But it's cool, and it's just like nice to check that off the list.
Yeah, and get some space back, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, but yeah, it was great to see you, and great to have you come down and you know get to play and pop your probing cherry and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, it was I definitely been thinking about, just workflows and probing a little bit more, but since I've been kind of taking a break from the machining stuff, it's not really on my forefront. But if I pick that stuff back up, uh the delivery man might give me a package, you never know. So we'll
Well,
see.
and
And
you
then
also had like a good I don't know if you put it into practice yet, but a good realization when you were talking to Brad about printing labels wirelessly and being able to have other people pack orders. Have you gone down that route, or is it that anything you wanted to kind of talk about?
oh yeah, so kind of backstory, Brad came to Dylan's place and Brad was telling us how he's the type of guy that'll like, and I think most of us are, is like, we'll see an Instagram post and we don't really care about what the subject of the post is. We'll look in like the background of pictures and stuff and like zoom in and find all like the little details. And we got to Brad's shop and like I instantly was doing that, like not even thinking about it. I'm like, oh, I see a Dymo printer, and then his computer was open and I see ShipStation, and I'm like, I have all of that. And I started asking him about it, and he showed how he has the ShipStation app on his phone, and he can just wirelessly print a label. Because I asked him, because there was a couple labels already printed that were still sitting on the printer, and I was like, did those print automatically? And he's like, no. And so that kind of sparked the conversation where I'm pretty much to the point where I don't have to pack orders, but I still need to print the labels. So if I can find a better way to use the ShipStation templates, so I don't know if there is an automatic order function with ShipStation. I would assume there is, but I'd have to get probably fancy with the templates to make sure like all the weights are right and just everything's the way I want it. Um, but as far as the other side of like the inventory and all that, pretty much I would say I'm 90% there. Um, it is interesting because little problems come up and it's just like, oh, I didn't think of that, and so now we got to fix the root cause of the problem or whatnot, and or label this or make this idiot proof or whatnot. So I would say I'm way closer, obviously, than I have been in the past couple months. So I would say maybe another month of just kind of testing and doing it will, I would say, iron out any of the last little mistakes or potential errors.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was cool seeing that light bulb go off in your head. You're like, oh man, that's cool. Like I want to get that done.
Yeah, no, it was, yeah, it's just cool because you see someone else do it and it kind of it hits you differently than it's like, oh, I've been doing it this way the whole time.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, like we showed up at his place and he was like, oh yeah, I got an order on the way over here. Let me print that label. And I was like, that's neat. That's really cool.
Yeah, and it'd be even cooler if it just was it printed and all of a sudden you have a pile of labels and you just grab them.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Especially with how much shipping you do, like you would know, or whoever you're having pack, orders know if there's labels at the printer, there's orders to pack. So
I bet you could even get fancy, and if there's like 5 labels waiting or something, you could use one of those apps to like text you or something.
oh, totally, yeah. Even if it's not built in the ship station, that's like that. There are ways that you could have it do that. That automation uh, online thing that I'm using, Zapier, I bet you it has ShipStation automation stuff that you could do.
Yeah, so I need to maybe start digging a little deeper with stuff like that, but as of right now, it's much better than it has been at least. And it's cool to see that like I'll do like kind of random spot checks. I'll be like, okay, bin number 25 should have 5 of these figures left, and I'll check my website. I'm like, it has 5, or like I'll run out of a figure and I'll be like, bin number nine's empty. Okay, look up what product bin number 9 has. Oh, it's this figure. Yep, it's sold out. Like just making sure everything matches. And so far, it's been great.
Awesome. Yeah, and I looked it up real quick, and like they Zapier has ShipStation integrations, so you can do like a million things from there.
Huh. Okay.
So like you can, I mean, you don't use Google Sheets, I don't think, but like you can add new ShipStation orders to a Google Sheet. You can create a ShipStation order from new rows on a Google Sheet, all that stuff. So whatever you want to connect it to, I'm sure you can, get that working.
Ooh, that opens up my brain.
Yeah. Oh, they have Shopify integrations too.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you can add new Shopify orders to ShipStation automatically.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So yeah, I think that adding those two together, you could, like you said, text somebody if there's 5 orders waiting, or do anything like that. Like the amount of things that Zapier can do once they have an integration with a company seems, I won't say limitless, but like there's a ton that you can do.
Yeah, I would assume once they're just like you said, they've set up or dug into the code or whatever of whatever software, they can pretty much control anything.
Yeah, yeah, and you can choose like any kind of triggers that you want. You can choose. There's a million both Shopify and ShipStation triggers. It looks like. So
Okay.
yeah, like you could have like custom. It looks like custom emails. If an order is updated, you can. If an order status changes, you can do something. New customer, new blog entry, abandoned cart, all that stuff are triggers.
Most of that's already automated on my end, actually.
That's what I would have thought, but
Yeah.
oh, but you can have it like create products too in Shopify
Huh.
and create product variants and things like that. So definitely worth looking into.
Yeah. So I guess what's new with you in the past week or so since I stopped by?
So like I said, we're on the very tail end of that titanium job. I should have that wrapped up mid to late this week and over
Did
to
you get
EDM.
drilling working?
Yes, so that's what I was gonna say. Is like I went from getting between 8 and 16 holes with that Goering drill to 200 plus holes and counting now on the Kennametal drill that I'm using.
Hmm.
It made it through the entire lot, and it's one of the Go drill series from Kennametal, and so it's a dual layer coating. It's like a gray Ty Allen coating with a gold tin coating over it. And so like the gold is supposed to wear away as you wear the tool, so you can kind of see wear spots, and the gold is still there. Like it's 200 plus holes and almost zero wear on the tool. Like it's still sharp and catches your finger if you rub it over the edge. And I was gonna change it out because now I'm gonna do the deep holes in this part, and I was like, well, I've got a couple extras. Let's just keep running the drill. Like if it starts looking ugly or something, I'll pull it. But there's no reason to change it prematurely if it's still drilling good holes.
Yeah. So back up for a second. What's the size of this drill again?
70 thou?
Okay. And then what were the speeds and feeds that you're running now?
I'd have to check, but the biggest thing that I did was I went down to a tinier peck. I think I'm pecking 30 thou now,
Okay.
because I noticed like in the drills that I did get out of the parts that they broke off in, the tips of them were fine. It was that like chips had gone up through the flutes and jammed it up. And so
Because you were doing something greater than 30 thou?
yeah, so I initially was doing 70 thou
Oh,
based on
wow.
because a lot of people were saying like, oh, go at least one times diameter, and so many people were like, oh, you can't peck in titanium because it's going to work harden, and like I think to one like to that point, like maybe on bigger drills you don't want to peck that much because there's a lot of heat generation at the tip. But like with a 70 thou drill, I think there's just not enough heat generation where it really matters. Like it'll wear the tool more for sure. Every time you enter a hole with a drill, it puts like the most load on the tool is when it enters the material, not while it's drilling. But yeah, I think I want to say, I think I'm running like 70 or 80 surface feet and a 5 or 6 tenths chip per two or inch per rev, which was
Okay.
like basically what Kennametal gave me. You can chat with like one of their applications people, and I was just like, hey, what should I use? And that's what they told me. And I didn't even ask them this time about peck because every time I've asked their chat, they're like, well, don't peck. And I'm like, okay, but like the laws of physics say that I need to peck. Like I don't have through spindle on this drill. I have to peck. Like it's not. I can't go to full depth. And they're like, oh, okay, well, we don't recommend that. And it's like, okay, cool beans, whatever. Like I had to do this at work the other day, and we were drilling 1 inch deep with one of their drills in a cast stainless, and they were like, "Oh yeah, don't peck." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay. So when I break the tool, do I get to a free one because that I need to peck in for 1 inch deep? Like, there's no way."
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, yeah, it worked. The tiny thread mill that I showed you in there that looked like a broken tool almost
Yeah.
made it through all 200 parts no problem, or all 200 holes no problem. I've got a longer version of that because I need the clearance for some different holes, same thread but deeper, that I'll be using later. But speeds and feeds wise, it all worked out. It just took a while. I think it was 30 minutes apart for 8 holes,
I was about to
which
say, you remember telling me it
yeah,
was really slow.
yeah, it's like 4 minutes a hole or something like that. So the spot and the drill take almost no time. And man, I was just like, I was, Brad and I were both running him during the day, and I was running him at night. And every time I'd hear the drill go over and drill, and then go for the tool breakage detection, I'd like clench up and expect it to stop, and for me to get all angry, and then it just would go and change tools and grab the tool, the thread mill, and keep going. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess this is working so far.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was nice. It was really nice
The trials and tribulations have been solved.
for now. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then I just got in the ducting for my mist away because I showed you while you were here that like if you try to mount it. So I bought the 6 inch manifold from Mistaway that they like show on a Haas. I was like, oh, that'll probably work. drilled all my holes, installed on the top, and it was like super flimsy. And so I, like if I was on a slower machine, it wouldn't be an issue. But like with how fast the machine rapids, like it already kind of jumps
Jitters.
around, and
Yeah.
like having something like that on there just bouncing around would not be good. So I found on the Facebook group that you can mount it on the side of the electrical cabinet because there's already bosses there. And then I just needed ducting. So I bought ducting and another 6-inch manifold to drop on the top. And I should get that installed maybe next weekend.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, overall, things are going well. I have the TC running some repeat work for one of our customers locally. That's working great. I mean, it's such an easy part as it is. Like, it's just a more or less like a big aluminum strap clamp
Okay.
for shipping for what they sell. And we've made them, I don't know, 4 or 5 times over, and we usually make 40 or 50 of them, something like that. And so it's like the perfect work for the TC because it's
Yeah.
super. I mean, the TC holds really good tolerance, but like it's super low tolerance. It doesn't need to be babysat. We don't even do almost barely any in process checking on it. Like I think I check 1 in 20 or 1 in 15 or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just, yeah, it's perfect work for it. So we got that running. I just made a new fixture for the titanium, one of the later ops in the titanium part today. Oh, okay. I just pulled up the Fusion file real quick too. So I was running 85 surface feet and 5 tenths feet per revolution. So that's 4,600 RPM and 2.3 inches a minute.
That drill's spinning. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and it worked totally fine. Like I wish I had more material because I'd love to play with it some more. I think I probably could have pecked 60 thou or 70 thou and been probably fine. The flutes on this drill are much beefier. The grind looks much more suited for the material. It's 140-degree tip instead of 118. So overall, it's just you get what you pay for. The Goering drills are $5 a piece, and the Kennametals are $33 a piece.
Yeah.
So it's yeah. Besides that, I don't think anything's changed since you left. We haven't installed anything else new. We're working on the TSC, but I don't want to get that fully installed until the Mistaway's installed as well.
Oh, what about when do you get the window for your kitty?
Hmm. That's right. I don't think maybe I said it on here, but we ordered that a week ago, and I think it's got 16 working days, is what they
Okay.
quoted. So maybe next week, late next week, or the following week.
That'll be good.
And then, yeah, we can't wait. And like I told you, we're gonna try to convince one of Brad's coworkers to come down and help us clean the machine again for lunch because he was all happy about that when we did it for the TC, and we're happy about that too. So, oh, and then the other thing I did is I bought yesterday or the day before. I bought all of the stuff to make the Tom Lipton lapping plates.
Oh yeah.
So we saw those at Brad's shop, and it kind of gave me the bug. And I asked him later over text, and he sent me the videos, and I watched them over the next couple of days, and I was like, that would be like, do I need it? No, but would it be nice? Yeah, it'd be pretty nice.
Is that why you posted on Instagram about the new project?
Oh, well, that just showed up
Okay.
on one of the groups I follow, and I was like, oh, that's hilarious. But yeah, it related to
Applies.
that, and it related to my car project too, because I decided to go a different direction with it a little bit, which like that I was designing that whole board, and then I found out that the US distributor of Speedwino boards, I can buy a fully assembled one for like $150. And so I'm just making an adapter board to go from that plug to my stock plug, and that way when I switch or do my engine swap, I can just make a new sub board and keep everything the same, and I don't need to pay for another $80 main board again. But it was like all of those little projects popped up at the same time, and I'm like, yep, that's me.
Yep.
So yeah, that's more or less it. Like I'm trying to think. We just were working on Friday. We finished up all of the holes. Lots of car stuff. Yeah, I think that's about it. What about you? How was the rest of your trip?
Trip was amazing. did a bunch of things. Met up with you. Met up with a couple other people that I haven't seen in a long time. So that was pretty cool. Got out in the middle of the desert with my buddy that took us out in his Ford Raptor. Then the power steering went out, and,
Oh,
and so that was interesting. And so we luckily made it back to cell service and got home okay. But that was just kind of a funny day.
yeah, that's a heavy truck to try to steer without power steering. That's for
Oh
sure.
yeah, he was struggling.
Oh man, well that's good. I'm glad you had a good trip. It's always nice to get away. I've got a trip here in 3 weeks that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's always it's been a long time since I've gotten away, so I can only imagine for you too. You know, it's nice to just drop everything.
Yeah, and then it's kinda weird getting back to it. I'm just trying to get organized and kinda get a game plan going. Um, but before we forget, let's talk about the book club because I know everybody's holding their books, curious about this. And I'm
Yeah,
honestly curious, we need to do a poll or something because I'm curious how many people are in our now book club. Like, I wanna know, like, a number.
yeah. Well, I know we've gotten maybe 5 or 6 people already that have sent pictures or posted pictures on
Yeah,
Instagram. So we've got at least that, and I'm sure we have a few more because there's a few people that commented too. So we probably have at least 10 or 15 people doing it.
okay.
So we were talking before we got on air, and I think we're going to read up to page 79, at least in the 30th anniversary edition, which is the end of chapter 10. And so we've got a guest this week coming on, actually 2 guests this week. Um, and then we will talk about it on the 29th.
Yeah.
So you've got a little over a week to read 80 pages or 79 pages, but it's a quick read and spaced pretty far. Some of the chapters are like, I don't know, 2 or 3 pages.
Yeah,
Um,
I
and then
just
the
started it, and it's really interesting so far.
yeah, I'm really glad you said that. I was worried like you were gonna be like, yeah, I don't know, I'm 5 pages in and I don't like it at all. But
Yeah, I'm gonna give it some more time here because I'm only 10 pages in.
yeah, yeah. So I'll go back and start reading it again. And then the other thing is Jeff Lowry from Lowry Racing or Lowry Racing. He mentioned that maybe we should start like either a Discord or a WhatsApp chat or something like that so we can all stay connected too. So if anybody listening has any input on like a good way to do that, the Instant Machinist Discord seemed like it works pretty well. And we can always just do one of those, or I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. But I think it would be. I think it's a good idea to do that.
And it honestly might be for at least for us because Dylan and I both share the Within Tolerance Instagram. So, like, that might be a good spot. We could have like a questions tab, and that way our phones aren't constantly blowing up.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's true. We could just do like a within tolerance Discord and then have a couple pages.
yeah.
I like that. That's a really good idea. So
So just
we'll look into
brainstorming.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll look into that, and then if anybody has any opinion on it, definitely reach out. And then once we decide on something and get it set up, we'll make sure to do an Instagram post about it.
Yeah, so for those wondering, this episode right now is being recorded on the 20th, and it'll probably go up. Um, I was thinking of posting it like right away, and so then we're doing one right after this that will probably go up Wednesday. So you're gonna have a lot of content this week. I feel like that's okay though.
Yeah, yeah, we went a week without any content, and so they'll get extra content the week following. I think
Yeah,
everybody will be happy about that.
yeah. So we'll go ahead
So,
and do that.
real quick, what did you research while you were on vacation?
A whole lot of nothing. Um, I did look into what was it that I was looking into? I do this thing, and I've talked about it before, where I'll just like email myself if I think of something. Um, and it was kind of nice when I got back. The only emails I had were like from myself. um, let's see. Let me see if I can find one. Um, see here. So one of them was, and I told you about this. I was looking into some fifth axis vices, and I was looking into because they're advertised as their like gripper jaws or whatnot, or the dovetail, like it does both, right?
Hmm.
Um, and my thing was, okay, if I got some of these or similar to like the Delta vices from Orange, like with at least with fifth axis, I haven't seen much whenever they do marketing. I haven't seen much talk about like the soft jaws that you can use on those. And so I was kind of looking into that because, like I was telling you, okay, it's great to have a bunch of these serrated jaws, but like I'm not running up one parts forever. Like I need a way to hold them in different ways that aren't the serrated jaws. Um, so I've been looking into that. And then what was the other thing I was gonna say? I bought was it the Anderson Sarah Jaws?
Yeah, yeah. So you saw them while you were at my shop, and I gave you the little nudge, nudge, and then we talked about it yesterday or the day before, and you bought
Yeah,
some.
I just went on there. I didn't even like care how much they were. I just bought them, and they should be here probably next week. So that's gonna be nice because, like me and you were talking about, you don't have to move the talons around, and then when you this that doesn't really bother me. It's the air gun that just it shoots up all the little holes that are exposed, all the little just it's just stupid.
Yep. Well, and so I don't mind. I wouldn't mind moving the screws around, except for the screws that come with Mighty Bite. I think it was Easton or something. Somebody that I was talking to was like, it feels like Mighty Bite is in the business of selling bad hardware because
Yeah,
like
because they strip
they
or
strip so easily. Like every single clamp I've ever gotten from them, like the clamp is rock solid, and then the hardware strips after like 3 or 4 uses.
yeah.
So it's just nice to like be able to set them and forget them. Like I don't think I've ever trying to think back, but I don't think I've ever taken the set that's in my Carve Smart jaws out. Like they've just been in there. I think Brad might have taken them out once because he wanted to flip them around so all the numbers lined up the right way. But besides that,
And those are made of some sort of tool steel, aren't they?
yeah, O2 or A1 or A2 or something. I'd have to look it up.
And you haven't had any problems as far as like holding power. They do the same as talons.
Oh yeah, yeah. It doesn't bite as much because there's more jaw contact.
Okay.
Like at first, it kind of worried me, and so they're made out of A2 just for clarification, A2 up to 58 to 60 Rockwell, but I have yet to pull anything out of them.
Okay.
And like I've said a few times, I made my jaw carriers out of aluminum jaw stock, and like we're still using the same jaw carrier that I made 3.5 4 years ago.
Yeah, I noticed that when I saw yours.
Yeah, and like they're a little. I wouldn't even say they're beaten up, but like you can tell they're older soft jaws, and eventually I'll make some more. But I don't know, they're pinned. They go back in every time. They work perfectly fine. Yeah, I have zero reason to change them really.
Yeah. So I've got the 8-inch steel ones that are pinned. And so I bought the 8-inch strips, and that's just going to be amazing.
Yeah, I think you're gonna love it. They're so worth it. So worth it. Um, yeah, I'm pumped for that.
Yeah.
So
So,
that's what you were researching and bought.
yep. What about
Um,
you?
so like I said, I was researching a lot of car stuff. My birthday was Saturday, so I, had some birthday money to blow, and I was like, oh, I want to put it on my car, and so I ended up buying that ECU. I bought a steering wheel and just a few other things. So I was doing a bunch of research on that, and then I've been starting to do a lot of research on the uh, lapping plates, lapping solutions, time saver grits, diamond paste, like everything under the sun, optical flats. Just because now that you start going down that rabbit hole, it's like a pretty deep hole.
Yeah, there's not really a stopping point in clear sight.
No, but it'll be really cool to be able to lap some stuff. Like the parts I'm working on right now, I would love to lap the locating face or like the face I was just using for locating in soft jaws would have been cool to just lap, and it'll be nice to like lap my hard jaws for my Carve Smarts because they've been beaten up or clamped on chips or stupid stuff like that over the years. And so it'll like I've been using the PFG stones. I don't know if I said on the podcast that I bought those, but I bought those from Spencer, and have had them for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. So I used them to install the fixture plate on the mill. Like we've stoned the entire table, we stoned the bottom of the fixture plate. I've stoned the bottom of all of my vices and the tops of all of the 0 point systems, and like it's super cool. Like they you felt them, like they
Yeah.
feel super nice.
Yeah.
Like when you, I wouldn't say you ring them together, but like when you do a couple swipes,
Just kind of
like
touch them
stone to
up.
like stone, yeah, just to touch them up, and like there's that second where it like breaks free and finally is like super smooth, and you're like, oh, it feels like a air bearing almost.
Yeah. It's like an
And
air hockey table.
right, yeah, and they work really nice and they look great. Spencer does a really good job with them. So yeah, it'll be cool to have one more flattening item, and like because you have to make three of them really to do it right. I'll have three. I bought three different diamond lapping compounds, the same ones that Brad had in the the colored bottles, or the colored solution in the clear bottles.
Yep.
And so it'll be a lot of fun. It'll just be fun to be able, especially like my own personal items that I make. It'll be really cool to lap those in.
Yeah. Just like 1, 2, 3 blocks or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's more. I don't know. Like, do I have a super need for it this second? No, but it'll be fun and it'll be a cool thing to have and to be able to offer if I need it.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So pretty fun couple weeks. Again, it was super awesome having you down. I appreciate you driving down. Like I told Peyton when he got down here, I didn't realize that he was up in Phoenix, and so I was like, he was saying all these things like, "Oh yeah, GPS says I'll be there in 30 minutes or something," and I was like, "Where in Tucson are you coming from that you're 30 minutes away?" And then I realized like, "Oh, he's in Phoenix. Okay, that makes
Yeah, I'd
even
been
more
driving
sense."
for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I was like, "Okay, this all makes more sense now." Uh, but yeah, I appreciate you coming down, and it was a blast to get to show you the shop, and I'm glad that we had just kind of cleaned it over the last 2 months and really gotten our workflow a little better and all of our table space a little better. And so I was happy that like the shop was not what it was 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Like much darker. I mean, you saw the lights, like
Yeah.
it's heaps lighter than it used to be. Um, and we actually just got two more of those lights that I put up because they're still on sale. So I was like, why not? They're so cheap.
Yeah.
So yeah, remember everybody, page 79. That's what we're going for. The first 10 chapters. We don't want to like drag this book. I mean, we want to be able to get to other books in the book club. I don't want to
Yeah.
spend 6 months on one book.
Yeah. But if we could get through a couple books a year or something.
Yeah, I think that would help everybody involved, and I want to hear everybody's different opinions on it. Like, not whether you like the book or not. I mean, that's cool or whatever, but like everybody reads stuff differently and gets different information from it. And like we're all in such different places in our businesses that I think that we can all really learn a lot from each other.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we just wanted to do a quick one. Should we wrap that one up? And
Yeah. I think that's it. Oh, yeah. Thank you to whoever bought the last double XL t shirt off my website. So that'll go out. And then I think the only other plug I have is there's like 10 Grimsmo figures left, and then those will never be made again. So that's the only thing I have left really on my website that's machining related.
oh, and then we also have Matthias Kohler from Hermley coming on the podcast later this week. So I'll make a post maybe Tuesday, and ask for questions. But he is their senior applications engineer, and is a, from what him and I talked a little bit on the phone, it sounds like he is a super machinist nerd as far as 5-axis and kinematics and all that stuff. So it should be a great episode where we really get to nerd out on 5-axis and automation and all that.
Yeah, it'll be cool to talk to him.
Alrighty, guys. Well, thanks for sticking with us. And sorry for the break in our usual posting. We definitely want to be consistent, but everybody
Life.
deserves to go on vacation. So
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we'll see you. Let's see, just in a couple days with the new episode.